This is one woman you're going to want to keep the receipts for, even after you marry her. I'm Sandy Kenyon, and Melania made me want to kill myself with the cabs that I'm shown it.
Run, don't walk off a bridge before seeing this one.
You're going to want to be on the list of people banned from AMC of your Steam Deck into the theater.
Did you bring your Steam Deck?
Yeah, well, okay, so I did, but then there was like a stupid looking father and daughter there, and they sat kind of weirdly close to me.
Yep.
And I didn't want to ruin the experience for them. I didn't know I couldn't figure out what their deal was. Because
are you sure they were father and daughter?
Oh, it's a pretty good point.
Given the content of this film.
Yeah. This is like one of the most fucking boring things I've ever not just like for the show, but in my entire life.
Well, it's Thursday, February 5th. This is your Chapo. It's me, Felix, and Katherine on today's episode. And in case you hadn't already figured it out, we're discussing the film, the sensation that is sweeping America. That's right, Brett Ratner's documentary, Melania, a new film.
Yeah. Do you think that Brett Ratner, the premise of this film was like a riddle to him? They're like, okay, Brett, you have to make a movie about the term they definitely used in this conversation was sex worker. They said, Brett, you have to make a movie about a famous sex worker. It's all about her. You spend a lot of time with her, but you can't assault her or they will kill you. And he was like, oh my God, how do I solve it? Wait, do I assault her in like post-production? And they were like, no.
Difficulty level 100.
Somehow he solved that one.
This is the one woman ever filmed by Brett Ratner who has like a full Secret Service a squadron protecting her at all times.
The only woman who's ever been safe around him.
Yeah. Okay, we're just going to begin with this movie. Katherine and I saw this movie over the weekend because Katherine reviewed it for The Intercept. And like before we get into this movie, listeners on the show will know that this week's free episode was a day late because I'm sick. I still am sick, and I'm blaming this movie for how shitty I felt all week because I felt a sickness, like a nausea leaving the theater, and I can only speculate that my ill health is some sort of divine retribution for taking part in this grotesque spectacle, even for ironic content purposes.
It really did like kick off like a ruined weekend.
Yeah, there's just no coming back from this. Like I went to the AMC around me. I went at the 10:15 p.m. showing. So the minimum amount of people would know about me seeing Melania. No. I mean, there's just one of the saddest things I could think about would be like sometimes when people talk to you when you see one of these movies, ironically, it's like kind of fun. Like when we saw The Reliant, there was just like this like a big old church lady who was like, "What did y'all think?" And we were like, we loved it. Or when I saw Gotti and that Ozone Park woman stopped me, and the person I saw it with and was like, "What did you think? I'm from Ozone Park. I miss him so much. He cleaned up the street." It's like it's great.
Yeah.
But with this, it's just pure. Like I am so glad none of these people talked to me because I think they all felt shame too, even if they were like the sort of freakish New Yorkers that are really into Trump and Melania. One could only imagine what they would tell you. I used to dream about being sold to Donald Trump. Never happened for me. But,
I mean, it really should be stressed that like the release, this movie has actually outperformed box office expectations for it. I think it did about $7 million over the weekend, which is more than was projected to do. And certainly this movie did turn out its target audience, which are basically women who love Donald Trump over the age of 70.
Yeah.
And they love Melania. But like the fascinating thing to me about watching this movie, and indeed even watching it in a theater, even in deep blue Brooklyn, where like Katherine and I were probably we were like, it's about 9 people in the theater, Katherine, and every one of them other than us was definitely
into it.
They were like, they wanted to see the movie. There's nothing in this movie for people. Like I the only pop the audience got when in our theater was when Donald Trump was on screen, and like he's really not in the movie all that much at all. Like they laughed when he was on screen, and
They
like
laughed
other than
at
that,
anything he said.
yeah, and like I think there's about 5 minutes of this movie that represent like a historical document of note to someone who's a supporter of Donald Trump, and that comes in like the last 10 minutes of the movie when they switch over the White House from Biden to Trump, and you see Kamala just like grimacing, Biden looking like a fucking scarecrow with his mouth open, and then they're just like chucking all of their furniture out the back door of the White House. But other than that,
it on fire.
It felt like spending 2 hours with a fucking robot, looking like picking out fucking napkins for a wedding or something.
Oh my God. So like 3 minutes into this movie, Brett Ratner realizes that his subject is just like, they programmed like all human affect out of her sometime in 1989. And they spend like 3 minutes of her like picking out dresses. And then Ratner is like, oh my God, she's so fucking boring. Who else is around her? And they start interviewing like her fail eunuchs, like all the like elderly gay men that follow
sort of like
her around.
Elderly gay European men who like
Her coterie of evil gays.
So she's surrounded by like, she has an entourage of gay guys who are like the sons and grandsons of Baltic and Balkan collaborators in World War II. And these guys, their ancestors were about to be executed by like the Red Army or Tito's partisans. And they were like, okay, you have two choices. We can kill you now, or you're going to have a gay son, but you can't sell him. And they all went, gay son that I won't sell. And that's how they ended up with Melania. But Melania is so fucking boring that like not even 3 minutes passes and Ratner's like, okay, like enough of her. And so he just starts interviewing like the random gay guys in the room with her. And these guys spend every waking hour with this woman. And the
like
only
designing a new hat for her.
Yeah, the only fucking compliments they can come up with her are she's really good at ordering clothes, and when she wants alterations to a dress, she says where they're needed instead of just going, I don't know.
They also love praising her color palette, which is both black and white and gold. Stunning stuff.
That comes up. There's like she has like an alpha gay guy who like wasn't castrated. He's like a John Slattery looking guy.
Yeah. I thought he was David Byrne for half a second. Like when he's first on screen, I thought it was David Byrne of the Talking Heads.
That guy's kind of cool. That guy's kind of, maybe it's just like the fact that everyone in the movie sucks so much, but it's like that guy was kind of like the star to me because he at least like he can make eye contact with Melania. He might have been knighted by Melania's father who sold her.
In terms of reviewing this movie, right? Like the most salient fact about it is that it is mind-numbingly boring. It's about an hour and 45 minutes long. Believe me, it felt twice that length. Like, this was zone out city. But like ancillary that are just like parallel to that phenomenon is that like you are witnessing and taking part in not just an act of bribery, like the blatant suborning of the White House,
and probably money laundering
by Amazon. You know, like I will just say that like just yesterday, I'll just read this headline here. Jeff Bezos louds Pete Hegseth as Secretary of War taps Blue Origin for U.S. space defense during Arsenal of Freedom tour. So the fact that Amazon paid marketing included $70 million for this movie is like chump change compared to the billions in defense contracts that they're going to get from this White House. But then like if that wasn't evil enough, you're also witnessing, both in terms of its subject and director, and the fact that this movie was released the same day as this new tranche of Epstein files came out, which included photos of Brett Ratner and Jeffrey Epstein lounging on a couch with like what I can only assume are underage women with their identities redacted. You were witnessing an act of sex trafficking, like this 100%. Movie at every level, like both Melania as a human being, but like the movie in general is a document of evil, of crimes perpetrated both against its subject, but like that's the thing with Melania, is that like I have no doubt that she was a victim of the same sort of network of human trafficking, literally, like specifically of Epstein and his network. I mean, like, I'm sure TrueAnon could document it better than I could from Perfect Recall. But like where do you think Trump got Melania? How do you think they met?
At a modeling show. You know, nothing weird about that.
What is the explanation for this if it's not that? Because this movie opens, the amount of money they spend on fucking music alone is psychotic. This movie,
the music in particular is so evil.
With like the worst "Gimme Shelter" montage ever, which probably alone costs like $17 million because they play the entire. They use so much licensed music, and it's like the only other. If this isn't like money laundering, probably for another sex trafficking ring, and like, you know, Trump rewarding Ratner for his support. It's Brett Ratner trying to give himself some sort of like reverse conversion therapy. He's like, I want to come back to Hollywood, but they're no longer allowing me to chase women around my desk like Beetle Bailey's boss. So I'm going to immerse myself in the world of clothes and events for 7 months. And when I come out, I won't like women at all. Definitely not girls under 14.
It is his re-entrance into Hollywood, right? Like, you know,
well, I mean, it should have succeeded.
And because of that, he gets to direct Rush Hour 4 now.
Yeah.
And like, this
director's
is a guy,
trademark. Film opens with a rabbi begging for the release of Peter Scully from prison.
And this is a guy who like had to leave Hollywood because of like numerous allegations against him, which including
by a woman who was as young as 19.
Yeah. And then moved to Israel, where he reportedly has become quite close with Benjamin Netanyahu. Then Trump gets elected again, and like the floodgates open to all these criminals.
They're dabbing on us. They are dabbing on us.
And there's another element to this that I need to bring up. This is courtesy of Rolling Stone's coverage of the release of this movie. I was not aware of this. According to the Wall Street Journal, the First Lady kept roughly 70% of the licensing fee, $28 million herself. And technically, there is nothing illegal about that. Quote, the First Lady is, for ethical purposes, considered to be a private citizen, and so the conflicts of interest statutes, the regulations for other executive branch employees simply don't apply, says Don Fox, the former acting director of the U.S. Office of Government Ethics. Like, this movie is not just like a bribe directly paid to the Trump administration. This is like Donald Trump saying like, oh, hey, like, you want to do business with my government, Amazon? Give $30 million to my wife to make a movie about how elegant and glamorous she is. This is just like, it's so third world that like captains of media and industry have to like just give money directly to the president's wife so she can look pretty in a movie.
And it's both that and also like the zone of disinterest, right? Like it's yeah. Like, you know, there's something so tedious, you know, so banal about the evil of this, as this figure is just picking out China patterns. And she glides across everything. She's like, her face doesn't move. She's not affected by anything she sees. Brett Ratner like draws the camera in very close at one point during she's watching news coverage of the LA fires, and it appears that she's a little misty-eyed, but I think her eyes are just watering. Like, he works very hard to create some emotion that is not returned.
She is a fucking robot.
He throws everything at the wall with trying to convince us that like Melania like experiences sadness.
Yeah.
Within the first like 30 minutes of the movie, he's like, oh yeah, well, her mom died, and I wrote down Melania is another 61-year-old orphan. Really popular type of person. And then the LA fires. Like, they have Jimmy Carter die, and she's like, the funeral was on January 9th, which is a really sad day for me because that's the day last year where my mom died. And then they show Trump, who the only part of the movie I laughed at is when Trump calls her after he wins the election.
Yeah, oh, that was so good.
It's like the Sbarro assistant manager getting called by corporate because they like sold like 7% more soda that month.
They had the best month in the region.
Yeah, it is one of the most impersonal things I've ever seen between two people who are supposed to be married.
He's telling her like the final electoral college vote, and she says something like, "Wow, that's great," and then "Bye, congrats." So funny. Yeah. Like two people who have never known each other, have never interacted before.
Yeah, he asked her if she watched it, and she's like, no. But the scene where he's in the Oval Office and they're like about to go to Jimmy Carter's funeral, and he's like, She was a great mother-in-law. She was a beautiful person inside and out, like a real piece of ass. I would have fucked her even though she's old and like gross. And then he goes, I love his old person phrasing. He goes, and I better not speak too loud because it was really hard for this one.
This one.
Like, so referring to Melania, which is, I think, like less a thing of someone who buys women and more of just like an old person that, like, that's how my grandmother talks. Like, she'll go, that one, this one. About people she doesn't like, but still.
Right. But also just like baseline annoyance with the idea that, like, I don't know, her mom died and she was kind of bummed out about it. Like, you know, what a pain in the ass. And they use all of the, like, you know, the death of her mother to lengthy effect. You know, she goes to St. Patrick's and lights a candle, and it's like, yeah. Did you know she has a mom?
Yeah, they were really pushing it with the mom.
Yeah.
Guys, she's like 62. She even goes, the death of everyone's mother is a day that everyone knows will come, but you don't know how to prepare for it.
In terms of Brett Ratner's efforts to, like, because, you know, like, this is sold as just like the single most
intimate portrait.
The single most offensive thing to me about this movie, outside, you know, all of the rape, murder, and bribery, is the fact that when it begins, Melania is like, everybody wants us to know what this is like to be me. So here it is. And it's like, nobody cares or wants to know what your life is like. Least of all, the MAGA dopes who filled out the theaters to watch this movie. They were only there to see Donald, and they only reacted when Donald was on the screen.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, how much, like, you know, the people who are seeing this, who are the MAGA faithful, are aping, like, they give a shit about Melania or that she's, like, so interesting. All they can really say, and I've, like, seen a million quotes from, like, journalists who went and, like, interviewed the chuds who went to see it. All they can really say is she's elegant, she's the most attractive first lady we've ever had, and she's woman-like. Or, you know, like, we like her womanhood. She's a mother. Like, there's never been a mother in the White House before. Like, you know, just gesturing at the fact that, like, she's an empty dress.
Yeah.
And just, like, in light of all of the, you know, like, ongoing war being waged on this country to, you know, get immigrants out, and, like, the ongoing demonization of immigrants, she's a foreign prostitute. You know, like, this movie is, I would rank this movie as, like, the first and only example I can think of my personal life of something an immigrant has done to, like, hurt me personally. And you know, like, you want to talk about, like, the ways in which Brett Ratner tries to humanize her or, like, coax anything out of her at all. The most grotesque example of that is, like, one of approximately 300 scenes in this movie where she's riding around in, like, an armored SUV, is when they're listening to Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, another song that they probably paid $30 million to license for this movie. And then, like, Brett Ratner is, like, he's sitting in the car with her, and, like, she's like, oh, like, do you like this song? And in terms of, like, you want to talk about, like, third world foreigner coded first lady, she just says, Michael Jackson is my favorite musician. You know, like,
and talks about meeting him with Donald.
Yeah, and he was like, he is a nice man. And
another, like, sinister overtone.
Okay, like, the one moment where she is unguarded and like, in even the slightest way, is that she starts singing along to Billie Jean in this car, and she's like, Billie, Mama always told me, be careful who you love. And Brett Ratner, you can hear his disgusting voice off camera, and he's just like, wow, carpool karaoke with Melania. This is freaking awesome.
Oh, God, that part, that really sickened me.
He should be turned over to Hamas just for that.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. That, I was, speaking of Hamas, one of the annoying ass hostages is in this movie.
Yeah.
This is, like, excruciating. And of course, like, Brett, they probably weren't going to, like, film this part, but Brett Ratner was like, I have to do it for my redemption.
Yeah.
And there's one thing, all these hostages are the same. The only Netanyahu policy I ever supported was killing all of them because they are boring. Box office poison. But she did, the thing the hostage said that made me laugh is she goes, I've only been to America 11 times.
And it's just like,
who's counting?
Well, and also, guess where her husband's from? North Carolina.
And this was when like her husband was still a hostage, and then like she's trying to raise awareness about it, and she has like some FaceTime with Melania in one of these like highly scripted moments intended to like give you the impression that Melania is a deeply caring person, but she reacts to this diplomacy. Woman. Yeah, but she reacts to this woman the same way she reacts to seeing like the news about wildfires on TV. She was like, "When I see the images of people suffering, excluding the children, it makes me feel bad." Or like, it makes me feel that we should all want to help the children.
Yep. That's what this administration's about.
Yeah, and the former hostage herself offers up such brilliant wisdom as there should be more love in the world, or I hate hate. You remember that? Like,
yeah,
just like the most benignly, just nothing to say.
Remember here's another one of my favorite parts of the movie. When she's having a Zoom call with Bridget Macron.
Famous passoid.
and like they're talking
about
Bezos
is on the line for some reason.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos is on the call but not speaking, and like Bridget Macron is like talking to her about like these stupid initiatives that like first ladies are like whatever they occupy their time with is this sort of ceremonial figure in the American government. And my favorite line from Melania is she's like, "I have always been an advocate for victims of cyberbullying."
That was awesome.
And then she says, "I am a huge fan of AI. My audiobook was done with AI narration." And it's just like, Katherine, you pointed out, like, there's a good chance that like her voiceover in this movie is done with AI, because like,
this might be the first fully AI movie other than, Brett Ratner's filming it.
It's just like, okay, you remember the scene where like she's sitting on a couch with her father, and you think you're going to get like something about her childhood or her parents or upbringing, but they're just talking about how great her mom is. And her dad starts talking for maybe like 5 or 10 seconds, and then that's cut off by her voiceover, which is like all things like, "I have long believed in the importance of the White House."
Yeah, that she says some insane things. Melania could be best described as speaking book report English.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single thing she says is like, "I have long realized that it is important to the importance of blah blah blah." The
My
word
thesis
blah, blah,
statement
blah
is
comes from blah blah blah. It's just like
Merriam-Webster defines devotion as.
It makes you think about like the finishing school that like Jean-Luc Brunel put these people through.
Yeah,
if that was part of it.
Oh man, my favorite Melaniaism from the movie is she's trying on her like coat for the inauguration and her ridiculous Carmen Sandiego hat, and she says of the coat, "I want it to feel like a coat." My soul left my body. I want it to feel like a coat. That really got me.
Obviously, like in preparing for this episode, Felix, I knew that you were seeing this movie like last night at like 10 o'clock, and I was just trying to like comprehend in preparation for this episode how annoyed you were by having to see this movie.
I was so pissed off. I was in such a bad mood, man. Like just a little insight behind the scenes. I tasked Spencer with trying to find me like just the shittiest cam possible. I like didn't care anything. Or like, I don't know, a play-by-play, a transcript play-by-play for blind people. Like they sent a radio guy to watch this movie and like describe it to blind Trump fans. And nothing turned up. I like waited until 7 p.m. yesterday because I was really holding out hope. But I did go and see, and it just like, I think generally in life, the things that we dread the most they're never as bad as you think they're going to be. They're always like just not as bad. This was a case of something actually being like shittier and worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and there was no cam version because unfortunately, you can't take video with a jitterbugged phone.
Yeah.
I mean, Felix, you mentioned in your movie theater experience of this, and I think the theater experience is important to like just describing the whole package here. You said that there was like what you assumed was a father and daughter came and like sat down right next to you. We had Katherine and I had a similar experience because like we get to the theater, we saw it in Brooklyn, and we were like, zero heads. This is going to be great. I can like smoke a cigar in the theater like De Niro and Cape Fear, like this is going to be awesome. But like I said, this movie outperformed box office expectations, and like little by little, the theater began to fill up. Starting with a sort of middle-aged couple who sat down next to Katherine and I directly. And then
Asian wife guy who looked and nudged his wife who was sitting next to me during a part where one of Melania's cronies is talking about the American dream. I kid you not.
Yeah. And then directly sitting like on the other side of us was a once again, I'm making this what you will, an Asian family. It was a
with
mom
a very
and dad,
young child,
and like their I would say probably like 7 or 8 year old son, who was like, and then as soon as they got to the theater, they started taking selfies of themselves sitting down in the theater.
Oh
I guarantee you, either myself or Katherine is in the background of this family's photo, just like looking over as the flash of their camera went off. They were
taking it in full darkness with full flash. And also, this child was so hyperactive. He declared, he was like up and down during the full movie, which I don't care. Disrespect this as much as you want. But then at the end of the movie, he said, "It's over," and that was the first time. Yeah. That was the first time I related to anyone else in the audience other than Will.
Like, dude, like, can we call fucking social services for that kid? Like, I thought I had it bad having to watch Gosford Park when I was like 7.
Yeah.
Even, like, Melania, when you're like,
and Brett Ratner ain't no Robert Altman, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that is child abuse.
I asked that woman, the mom, what she thought of the movie, and she said it could have been better, but she seemed apologetic about it. I was just like, what can you do? Goodbye.
Did you? So I got there kind of early. Did you guys see the previews? The previews were like kind of the most interesting thing about the entire experience.
We really didn't get any previews.
I got a lot of I got like 30 minutes of previews, and I thought they were so interesting because all of them, every single fucking preview, except for the one for like Moana 3 or whatever, was some movie that like some bitter like producer who got drummed out of Hollywood in like 1995, or like some other cokehead financed in 2024 under this assumption that like, this is going to be like the 80s. We're retaking the culture. So I saw like 10 trailers for like shitty Christian and like conservative movies, including one that it's about like a bunch of loser musicians who one of them gets sober and they're like, we're going to go on tour and we're bringing a child with us. And it's like, it's Christian for some reason.
Okay.
But then the other ones, like this is the new conservative thing for the way that they're going to take back the culture, is they're making tons of movies about the founding fathers, and they're all like, it's all the same shit. Like all the trailers are the same. There's like a movie about George Washington all these guys are really excited about, and the trailer will be like George Washington going, a government that doesn't fear its people should fear itself, like something he never said. And then like a song that sounds like it's by One Republic but isn't, like One Republic if they got held hostage, like that Japanese director
by Kim Jong-il.
Yeah. A song like that just blaring at 9 times the volume of like dialogue. It didn't make me interested in like, whenever there are retrospectives about like this period of Trump too, the conservative attempts at like taking over mainstream culture are going to be so funny to look back on. I would give anything to be in like the chain emails with the people who produced that movie under the assumption that they're going to make back any of their money. Like they thought Trump was going to be at like Reagan levels. They thought it was going to be like 1984 on election night. They were coked up and they were like, yeah, here's $200 million for your shitty movie about Benjamin Franklin. And it's going to fucking, all these things are going to brick.
I mean, I don't know, like, I was thinking about this in light of like, like the fact that this movie was released on the same day as the Epstein files, and it's directed by a guy who's like in the Epstein files. Like, and then Melania herself is like someone trafficked by these same people in all likelihood. And like, I don't know, like I in terms of the entertainment industry, like I do think like a significant part of Trump 2 or even like, is this kind of like counter revolution to what they perceived as like the direct threat posed by Harvey Weinstein's prosecution for rape? And like, I think there is like a concerted effort to kind of like force back into the public consciousness people like Brett Ratner and people who are like, ooh, they were so egregiously canceled for all of their rapes and sexual assaults in Hollywood, and that they're going to try to like force fit this shit back into the public. Because like in the Epstein files, they talk about how their boy Harvey was done so fucking dirty by like these greedy bitches, and just like the sheer sleaziness of it and the sheer like awful quality of what's being produced like really doesn't matter, because this is like for them kind of an exercise in power. And like, I mean, in light of that, like, Felix, you brought up the use of the Rolling Stones song "Gimme Shelter," and like, this movie opens with like an extremely expensive drone shot of like the first thing you see in the movie is like the rushing sort of like azure blue waters as you approach the coastline of what looks to be a tropical location. And as soon as the drone hits the beach, I was so expecting to see that little temple. Little St. James. But no, it is Mar-a-Lago. And like the first 5 minutes of the movie, you see Melania step out of Mar-a-Lago, and the first thing you see of her is her red bottom high heel shoes. And she steps into a motorcade to go to the airport to fly to New York. And like that right there, I just described about 90% of what's in this movie. But like the licensing to use "Gimme a Shelter," you may think that it's like, I don't know, Catherine, you pointed this out in your review of the movie. You may be fooled for half a second that setting the opening to this propaganda film about the president's, store-bought, catalog-bought wife, as he like, is on the verge of being inaugurated and like, further desecrating the Constitution or just like American society even further, that you would score it to a song of which the chorus is literally rape, murder, it's just a shot away. But no.
I don't really have anything else more to say about this except for I stopped taking notes around like the hour mark because it was just like, who gives a fuck? Like I was hoping that like a crazy James Holmes type guy who's like obsessed with Melania and like dresses up like Melania would like come into the theater and kill me. I was not wishing death on any of my fellow theater I was hoping he would kill me, and then that would have to like be in the news that I was seeing Melania alone. That's like they're Don Lemon is doing a news report about my death from prison, and he's like, entertainer Felix Biederman killed during not even really a mass shooting during showing Melania. At the time, he was not sexually viable enough to bring a partner. See the Brett Ratner directed documentary, but the part near the beginning where she's working with like her entourage, the gay guys who look like chows, those really like puffy dogs, and she goes, "I am already thinking and planning inauguration," and it's like, it's December, you idiot. Of course you are. I am a lifelong member of your planet. I love being human.
I don't care who is fucking president after Donald Trump, but like day one, I want to see a team of like federal soldiers with flamethrowers just scorching Mar-a-Lago to the ground. That place is an epicenter of deep evil, and it needs to be like, the earth needs to be salted.
If there's ever a place that like they should drop the GBU-57, the mother of all bombs, that is what it's made for. To wipe Mar-a-Lago off the fucking map.
A little more detail here about Brett Ratner. This comes back to the Rolling Stone coverage of this. It says here, one person familiar with the production estimated that some 2/3 of the crew members who worked on the film in New York had requested not to have their names formally credited on the documentary. A separate person
I thought you were about to say 2/3 of the people who worked on the movie were raped.
Well, it says
sorry.
A separate person who will be credited on the film said that after experiencing the first year of Trump's second term, they now wish they had not put their name on it. I'm much more alarmed now than I was a year ago, that person said.
What did you think was going to happen, dumb fuck? I hate that shit more than like the people who are like, actually, it's going great. Like the Andrew Schultz types. Who are just like, I ain't vote for this. It's like, what did he was president before. He was so bad that like Joe Biden won.
Sierra says people who worked on the film said they had fewer problems working with Melania Trump herself, who was described as friendly and very engaged in the process, than they did with the director Brett Ratner. She was totally nice, one person said. She was the opposite of Brett Ratner. And then it says here, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with the propaganda element of this, one member of the production team said. But Brett Ratner was the worst part of working on this project. That person said they weren't aware of Ratner's involvement until just days before filming began, and they would have not accepted the job if they'd known. Well, you could always just quit.
That's a hell of a reveal. Yeah, exactly.
Another confirmed, there was more talk about Brett being slimy than there was about Melania. Ratner left a trail of detritus, discarded orange peels, gum wrappers wherever he went on set. He did actually chew a piece of gum and throw it in a coffee cup on my cart, one person said, but didn't acknowledge my existence for even 1 nanosecond. Another recalled a long day during which the crew wasn't allowed to break for meals and no outside food was allowed to be brought into the space where filming was taking place. Brett unknowingly or maliciously got his own food, went up there and was just eating it and licking his fingers in the grubbiest way possible.
Spiritually Israeli.
Either being a dick or having no awareness whatsoever to the fact that everybody else is working and no one's eating, one person recalled.
Nothing tastes good unless everyone else is hungry.
Yep. And that underscores to me a moment in this movie that I totally forgot until I read your review of it, Catherine. And that's at the very end where it's like they've been inaugurated. They're back in the White House. And Donald Trump is like, did you see everything? Everything looked wonderful. And there's a scene where like he goes off into another room and Melania like excitedly gestures to the cameraman to like, come see this. And you think like, oh, are you going to see something odd or like Trump doing something like out of, sort of out of character, or you're going to get like a genuinely unguarded moment from these people? But no,
certainly not.
He's just eating food. He's just going into the refrigerator.
Oh, and when Ratner coos, is that where you're going?
About it. Yeah. Like as Trump is walking away, Brett Ratner says off camera, "Sweet dreams, Mr. President."
Oh, fuck.
Well, like I said, this movie was pure evil. I really do not recommend anyone experience it for any reason. I feel bad enough already doing it for the show. But yeah, I really don't have too much left to say about the Melania experience.
I was praying for tragedies to like preempt this, to like, so even after I saw this, that like I wouldn't have to talk about it. Like I was putting on a maid outfit and sort of like using a push-up bra, and I was messaging autistic teenagers. And it was like, my name's Bianca. You should blow up the Statue of Liberty to impress me.
You were hoping you would have to do an episode that was responsive to the news.
Yeah. I would have been like, oh, look, we were going to talk about Melania, which I was really excited to see and talk about, but looks like there was a tragedy that I had nothing to do with.
I also thought it was interesting, the first ladies among which Melania attempts to position herself. Like, there's a part of the movie where it seems like they're going to, I don't know, like show a portrait of each first lady and then like position Melania, as a part of that lineage. But instead, they only show Eleanor Roosevelt, Jackie O, and I think her.
And no, Mamie Eisenhower.
Oh, and maybe Eisenhower.
2 of the 3 famous for their husbands dying during their term. Very aspirational.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well,
hottest first lady ever.
She's so elegant.
I do kind of think it is a way for like, the mega immigrant haters to like kind of exercise their disdain. Like if she was any other Eastern European immigrant, they would despise her. But they have to like, put on this like, this almost like minstrel show about like, yeah, she's the good one. And actually we like her stupid voice and her flat affect and her bad plastic surgery.
I don't think those are like the people they hate. I don't think that like Trump people are like fucking Slovenians. That's more like us. We're
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Hey, fuck her and Slavoj Žižek and Luka Doncic. Fuck all of them.
You know how her mom died on January 9th? I was thinking it was funny if like some crazy Slovenian lib, like just a a Slovenian guy who's like bored with Slovenian politics, so he's just like an American lib, like killed her mom because of January 6th.
Peter Fonda.
Yeah.
A bad few weeks for America there. Bad week for America.
Well, like I said, this movie like genuinely made me ill. I've been sick all week, and I felt like, I don't know, spiritually corrupted and stained by taking part in this, like I said, a filmed act of bribery and the ongoing degradation of our entire society being cannibalized by sallow-like evil.
Well, we did it for you, dear listener.
I mean, that's really like, that's the thing is during Trump 1, we saw tons of like conservative shit, and before, like, that's always been one of our favorite things to do is to like go and watch a conservative movie because it's like, it's an easy barrel of laughs to obtain. I think that's almost universally true, but like, there is no enjoyment to be gotten from how shitty it is. And I think that is such a total difference between Trump 1 and 2. Things are just like, it's like the same level of like shit and incompetence and malice, but you can't like, there's actually like nothing fun or like really that risable about how bad it is, because now the joke about how bad it is kind of on you. It's on you, the viewer.
Yeah, I've wondered. I've wondered that about you guys in particular. Like, do you feel in your years of watching these kind of right-wing movies, do you feel like it's getting less fun?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen one in a while. I mean, we're waiting.
Hey, well, I mean, check back next week when we do the Pendragon cycle. I've been looking forward to that one for a minute.
I am looking forward to the Pendragon cycle.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like these conservative movies have been getting like, they're a little more professionalized now, but also like, you know, the milieu is just so much more evil that like, I don't know. Yeah, harder to glean even humor out of it.
I am looking forward to that one about like the Orthodox Jewish guy who's like John Wick. wait, is that was like a Fathom event? When is that coming out on like
Guns and Moses? I believe it was. Called.
Yeah. When is Guns and Moses? Because that's what those movies used to be like.
Yeah.